Good afternoon, WSSEA. We are back with some more Splatoon 3 action. We got Central Kitsap and we got Sedro Woolley here in a Week 7 matchup. My name's Spicy, joined on the mic here with Neptune. How are we doing today?
We are doing fantastic, especially with this matchup here. Central Kitsap looking to uphold their state title from last year in Splatoon once again on this stage here on stream versus is Sedro Woolley as well. So it's going to be quite the matchup here today. But before we get into this, we have to do our sponsor readouts here and give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring you this broadcast to all of you, helping showcase the amazing talent in Scholastic Esports. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a huge shout out on social media. Make sure to join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA when you post.
Always a big shout out to Zotac Gaming for everything that they do here with WSSEA. So here we are. Great matchup as we came in. And you know what's funny? We were talking about this going in. Like, we knew it was going to be Rainmaker for game one. I'm looking at Rainmaker Manta already, and that's such a WSSEA tried and true classic here. Every time we go Rainmaker, seems to be Manta Maria.
Yeah, for sure. I believe it was Central Kitsap that won the coin
Correct.
flip too, and yes, okay, correct. Thank you for that. So if they won the coin flip, then obviously they had to choose the map app as well, because the modes are locked in. It's preset for each of the game modes here as well as we do it here in WSSEA. But Manta Maria, as you said, is just kind of a staple map mode here. There's some chaotic things. Sometimes it's just a clean wipe. You get that first wipe out, and then you just ball it towards that last checkpoint there and just finish the game right there. Or you get a little bit of that at mid fight where like teams will just kind of scrap and scrape each other by until one gets such a significant lead, and then it just comes down to that mid fight at the end there. That's kind of how Rainmaker goes around Spicy.
It really does, especially here on Manta Maria and in the WSSEA format. I feel like multiple times we've seen that either it's going to be it ends in like the first minute, one team breaks away, they win that initial team fight, get to the first pedestal, pop bubble again, maybe in the process win a second team fight, and then they're already at the end goal. But every now and then we'll see a much more drawn out Rainmaker game where it does take a while just to get out of mid, and you see a little more of the back and forth. A lot of it is pretty much volatile up until we see those checkpoints falling. So it is going to be interesting to see how these teams approach it. Both these teams were around for the first WSSEA Splatoon season as well. Central Kitsap, as we've described, of defending champion here, even though there is some roster turnover. They're doing pretty good this season, and Sedro Woolley, obviously, another pretty solid program. So both these teams should be going good going the rest of the way.
Yeah, for sure. And we gotta talk a little bit about Central Kitsap here because I got a little bit of a news flash here. Apparently, 80% of their roster has graduated last year. So you're kind of seeing a whole bunch of new faces here as well, looking to kind of fill in like these large shoes that were left behind here. And so far, the seasonal record, Central Kitsap is 4-1 here. That's pretty strong here, only with one loss so far in the season here. That is definitely a good contender here in week 7 here if you're going to look to secure your spot in playoffs here. Meanwhile, it's not looking good for Sedro Woolley. I believe it's their 3-2, correct?
3-2, yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. If they're 3-2 right now, this is kind of a little bit of a high stakes matchup here. You're looking to see if you can take that game and just keep at least a 4-2 record here. Otherwise, matching 3-3, it's going to be coming down to potentially tiebreakers if you make playoffs as well, because anything can happen, Spicy, especially as we close in. I believe we only have so many weeks left here as well. And you want to see if you can secure your spot for playoffs, and just so you can go and run that extra mile there as we get started here.
Yeah, we are finally getting started here. Rainmaker Manta Maria, map 1. We got Central Kitsap in the yellow on the left side, Sedro Woolley on the right in the blue. Immediately getting a look to see at these comps. And Neptune, what stands out to you so far?
I'm going to be highlighting the rollers here. So we have the Dynamo roller here, a very strong weapon pick here for Manta Maria. If they get posted up in those bunkers, it's able to basically launch massive AoE waves to be able to push people out of that street area as well. And then on the other side of Sedro Woolley, you have Lingza roller, which is a little bit more of a hybrid weapon here. So I'm kind of curious to see if that will work out, which it does, Spicy. Never mind.
Yeah, I was thought it worked out beautifully, but then you saw the double on the side of Sedro Woolley. And Parzival here with the 96 is going to take the Rainmaker over towards the right side. Traditionally, tend to see it go left. The right side's a great sneak play, especially when you knew that a lot of players from Sedro Woolley probably weren't expecting it there or were already gone. But look at this hammer coming on the roof of the side of Sedro Woolley, already finding the wipeout there. What a response here. They're going to be able to pop the bubble, get multiple picks again in the process, and now they have a chance to do something with the Rainmaker. We see double falling, and now we're going to be back to mid with a full bubble.
Yeah, that was such a crucial pick with that hammer right there, but unfortunately falling off the map is going to reset all that advantage they have here, and now it's going to be the Tri-Slaughter here. Triggering to defend does manage to do it here as well. We're just kind of looking to see what we can do to push up into mid, and we are getting these picks here, Spicy, but you still have to deal with this 96 on the run.
Yep, Parzival just doing a great job of providing space as well as getting those picks there with using the range of that 96 there. Central Kitsap, remember, they already had that checkpoint taken down, and they're trying to just keep pushing on forward here. It's just the Rainmaker carrier. They are going to get splatted out by this bucket up top here by that Tri-Nouveau. So great stuff here. They're going to have Tactical available too, but it is going to be behind this Rainmaker. Interesting stuff that has to be done here. They're trying to do a great job, though, of at least keeping this Rainmaker push alive, as they now looks like we are going to be seeing a Sedro Woolley push.
Yeah, for sure. Starting this push really quickly as it starts, it gets shut down here. But Parzival on this 96 has been such a menace on this side here. Just being able to get these amazing picks, being able to have Kraken out when their team is pushing here as well. And here we go. Well, the first verse is the same as the second verse here. As we Bob Kraken, we're trying to push through here, trying to secure these picks here. You got to get this fish past this little pedestal here, but it seems like the other teammates just keep cleaning up here, and the 96 is splatted here, Spicy.
Yeah, and once again, Central Kitsap is actually getting wiped out. Sedro Woolley is, I think, 2-0 so far in terms of wipeout ratio. And you see them also going right side with this checkpoint here. They are going to get splattered up right before they could get the dunk. And right as we talked about it, Central Kitsap is actually going to respond with a wipe of their own here. Great defensive hold here. Interesting to see that Sedro Woolley does have a couple other options up in play. They do have the screen as well as a potential specialty. I don't think we've seen it yet so far in this game, but an interesting option nonetheless, and they end up getting a chance to use it.
Yeah, for sure. He was Wellstring trying to live on for their dear life here, but unfortunately goes down. The Dynamo versus Flings of War. The Dynamo is going to come out on top, and now we're barreling towards this final checkpoint here. This is where your things start to get dangerous as you go for the knockout here. The Wellstring misses the one shot right there, and Central Kitsap just knocks it out of the park, taking game number 1 of this best of 5 set.
Yeah, CK, once again, holding strong here, showing why their record is so strong, as well as why they're defending champions in WSSEA Splatoon 3. One of the most interesting things that we see here, as well as that fist bump, is that their ability to convert off of those team fights, especially you saw it at the end, they get 2 wipes, and those wipes alone were pretty much everything they need just to get to that knockout. It was just great stuff, being able to follow up with the objective after winning in neutral those fights.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to point out, I believe it was Parzival on the 96. Yes, Parzival.
Yes.
Just being able to just get so many quick splats and then transform into the Kraken right there. That is one of the most effective ways to use Kraken in this game, because typically when you're inside the Kraken, well, you lose your main weapon. And some people might see that like, well, does it matter? The Kraken's invincible. It's able to chase people. But here's the thing. You kind of turn your character into something that just specifically is really good at moving people and catching people off guard. So if the Kraken does not get that pick, you essentially trade another body that's able to paint or maybe interact with the objectives. So by getting that initial pick right there, you essentially don't have to worry about that. The numbers work out in a way in which you have this massive invincible special chasing you down and then having your teammates run through it with, which is exactly what happened after those wipeouts there, Spicy.
And Neptune. The counter pick has come in. Splat Zones is the mode already set for game 2, but we are going to Barnacle and Dime here. I feel like we see this every now and then as one of our WSSEA map mode selections, so I'm real curious to see how this ends up playing out here. I know he saw a lot of potential so far, especially when it comes to the fighting in mid, so I'm real curious to see how we end up playing zones.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like zones is vastly different from how Rainmaker is typically played as
Yes.
well, because generally speaking, you're looking to just deny area in front of the zone so you can keep the zone. Meanwhile, in Rainmaker, you're trying to push really far up into the enemy spawn here. And oftentimes, like when I hear top players talk about splat zones, they only fight when they need to fight. So you kind of have
Mm.
a little bit of a lockout situation potentially on here if you do manage to set it up properly, which I believe Central Kitsap is really well versed in and are familiar with doing here. So we can see that perhaps in action here, but maybe something Sage or Woolley has up their sleeve that they're going to pull out here.
Yeah, we see Parzival switch from 96 onto the decap, and we see a big weapon swaps here from Sedro. Woolley bring out the Neo Splash as well as the Blue Dapple in terms of their new kit.
Yeah, for sure. The blue dapples is definitely something that we're watching out for. It's very mobile. Its dodge rolls are really fast, has a quick kill time, but that range is going to be the crux of it. If it's able to get in, which Peppermint is able to do, it's going to cause some damage here, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough in just the Neo Splash enough to fend for themselves, Spicy.
Yeah, Dylan is just trying to hunt down Kira here with that matchup. And it is interesting to see now the Neo Splash, great weapon here for the paint coverage, as well as having that special of having those tri-strikes. It is going to help a lot when it comes to painting the zone, but it does lack a lot of that range, and it does lack a lot of use necessarily in those team fighting areas. And here's where the lockup potential is going to come through, as you were talking about earlier. Central Kitsap is now going to have a chance to just play in front of the zone and try and just lock out Sedro Woolley, who, in comparatively speaking, is going to have a lot of a harder time just getting in, and especially after getting wiped out.
Yeah, for sure. Just the defense on Central Kitsap has just been absolutely phenomenal here. Sedro Woolley, they're trying to aim to get back in. We have the Dewey's dodge rolling, trying to go in the flank here. They have a reef slider trying to get it on zone. Will they be able to do it? They do get one splat here, looking to cap the zone and extend the game here, Spicy.
It's important here to go for the paint coverage, but unfortunately you see Peppermint fall, as well as the rest of Sedro Woolley, as Central Kitsap is going to go 100-0, as well as now go up 2-0 in this set.
Wow, just domination indeed right here. And I gotta give credit here. While Central Kitsap has an amazing defense, Sedro Woolley also had opportunities and times which they were pushing back in as well. Yeah, we saw at the end there, the Daffles going for that reef slider on the zone, getting that crucial pick, almost led to a zone flip and prolonging the game. They're applying penalty. It just was a critical moment where they just basically just barely didn't cap the zone right there. The Decavitator was there responding with a bubble to hold that zone cap right there. If the Decavitator did not pop bubble then and there, we could have been seeing a potential comeback right there. So it's Sedro Woolley playing well, Central Kitsap playing better is how I see it.
I will agree with that. Yeah, like Sedro Woolley is playing solid. You see why they're positive on the season so far, but Central Kitsap coming back, and you kind of see a lot more of that just expertise coming through. Like we talked about how coming into the season, it was a lot more of a bigger turnover in terms of what happened with their roster. But I know from the player descriptions we got here, team description, that Parzival is kind of like a shot caller here as well, and you can really start to see that there, and just that like being the captain, that kind of leadership. Down with the decaf, like presence of mind. Okay, we'll pop the bubble right in the zone as a way to kind of secure it in the final moment, and also knowing they're going to win that 1v1 just because a decaf against a splash matchup tends to lean decaf, at least in those context. Great stuff here for them, but Sedro Woolley, they still have a chance to come through. They just need to get a game on the board to really change things up. And now with the tower control being the mode number 3, they have locked in Undertow as the map.
Ooh, okay, Undertow. This is not something you see super common, but just common enough to like warrant the pick here as well. I feel like Undertow is one of those maps. It's just like it's very much split. You have your left side lane, you have your right side lane, and you have your middle lane. You have that 3-lane map design kind of going on right here. So it's just a matter of how you balance it, and then you are able to swap between the two, but you're going to have to cross through mid as well. So I feel like if you set your teammates up, watch their backs, and allow them to be able to do the cross to help you out with the fights where the lanes are, then I feel like you have a lot of opportunities here. But wait a minute, Spicy, what are we looking at here?
We are seeing incredible weapon swaps from both teams here. Seeing the range blaster come out, as well as a ballpoint spotting, which I haven't seen in WSSEA maybe since 2024. Sedro Woolley coming out here, Order Chargers, what was the new Dread? Really interesting weapon swaps here from both sides.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting weapon swaps. Hey, that's sometimes what you need when your back is against the wall here. You're going to need to try some new things here, but the flank from
Oh,
the dualies right there is going to be absolutely critical, leading to a wipeout here as they barrel towards through this first check.
yeah, Bib Dylan there on Empire. We see Empire Splatoon so often in this league, and you see
Oh,
why. Finding the opportunity to pop that triple splashdown deep into Sedro Woolley territory is going to open up so many lanes here for Central Kitsap to just keep marching this tower forward. They're basically left uncontested as they went through that second checkpoint already, as well as now popping ink back on the tower.
yeah, for sure. Ink back on the tower to just stay alive here. And then we have this Kraken for sustain right here. It just feels like whatever response Sage or Woolley has, there is a special to counteract it as well. And that is going to be a clean knockout here. 3-0 on the board. Central Kitsap is going to be taking home this set here in week 7.
Yeah, quick 3-0, and that's to say a lot here because Sedro Woolley has not been a slouch at all this season. It's more just showing how good CK has been. And like you're seeing like glimpses of just like really strong play here in Splatoon. Like I'm just thinking about like, okay, the vac on the tower is already just a great play there, preventing anyone from coming at it, but also then having the Kraken right behind the tower too to prevent anyone from flanking from back there. It's like, yeah, the execution from this team and synergy and just overall like game plans are just really is what's setting them apart from the rest of the league right now.
Yeah, for sure. You can definitely tell they've been putting in the work. The team coordination's on point. The special usage is on point. Mechanically speaking, we saw the dualies just constantly just running it down and just threatening things like the Charger. So the Charger, even though it's a strong weapon on tower control, it needs to be set up there. And oftentimes it was just denied the areas and spaces it wants to play in. And by the time it did get set up, we had specials to remove it as well. So it was just kind of a catch-24 situation where even if you play your game, it's just so difficult to just find a response here.
It was really difficult there. Central Kitsap has just been playing like out of their mind. Every single player like really contributed to their team, and props to them for putting on such a great matchup, especially against a really strong, really good Sedro Woolley team. Before we head off, we do have to give another shout out to our other sponsor here, LANFest, because this broadcast is part of LANFest's Scholastic Esports program, a program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, LANFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts of Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and teams we cover, and your generous donations make this all possible. As a reminder, every $200 raised covers the operating costs for one regular season broadcast, and if you appreciate our work, scan the QR code on screen and donate today.
Yep, thank you to LandFest for being here and helping us out here, along with Zotac. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring you this amazing broadcast here tonight. But Spicy, we can only be on the cast for so long and talk about this game. I'd love doing this each and every week, but where can the people find you outside of here?
You can find me at various socials at 2SpicyBM and at 2SpicyMK, whether it be with Splatoon, Mario Kart, Smash, pretty much anywhere when it comes to Nintendo esports. And Neptune, always a pleasure doing this with you. Where can the great people of this community find you?
You can find me over at Neptune-TV on Blue Sky here. I don't post too much here, but like I'm generally involved with the Splatoon scene, both as a competitor as well as a tournament organizer. I mainly specialize with the collegiate side of Splatoon as well, but recently we just wrapped up our league for the collegiate side as well, so I'm just here to enjoy all the leagues here, Spicy. What can I say? I enjoy dipping my fingers in all the pies here.
Understandable. Well, if you're here for WSSEA stuff, we have Overwatch tomorrow as well as Smash on Thursday. But if you want to see more Splatoon, we will be back again next week. Until then, thank you again, and we will see you guys next time.
See ya.